Mr. Meetoo will be guiding us through the jobs of the future and how you can prepare for them. Mr. Meetoo, the floor is yours.
So thank you very much. I feel a little bit like Steve Jobs today, standing in the middle of this, this place and addressing 400 students. The last time I spoke to 400 students was about 6 or 7 years ago when I was a lecturer at the University of Mauritius. And this was my last class, just before quitting the university to do other things. So welcome to you all. And like the chairman just said, your future and the future of the country lies in your hands. So what we are going to try to do today is to broaden your perspectives, make you see a little bit wider than maybe you are seeing right now, but it's going to be for you to do the hard work, not us. Okay, can I have the presentation, please? So this is the second slide, I think, or the third. Can I see the first one? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about the jobs of the future. And as was just said a few minutes ago, I'm the senior advisor of the Minister of Technology, Communication and Innovation. Previously I was a teacher. So how I consider myself, I'm still a teacher, except that now I only have one student, a minister. Because my job is to read and read and read and understand, and once I understand, I share my knowledge to the minister, who shares the knowledge to, civil servants, parastatal bodies, agencies, and this is how it's supposed to be. So what I'm going to tell you today is basically the exact same thing I say to ministers and government. Nothing more and nothing less. And you take whatever you feel is valuable for you. Now, the important part here, once again, is that you are the one who need to prepare for those jobs. Those jobs are not going to be made for you. You are going to have some effort to do. Next, please. Now, one thing which is important is that we live in a country which is the Republic of Mauritius, which comprises of 4 islands: Mauritius, Rodrigues, Agaliga, and Saint-Mandon. The 4 of them are called the Republic of Mauritius, where we live. And what you need to know is that the government has a vision. Right now we are 2019, mostly 2020, and we want, within 10 years, for Mauritius to become a high-income country. Basically, everyone needs, by 2030, to have a lot of money, which is what high income means. But this needs to be done in an inclusive way. Inclusive way means that everyone should be able to win. Now, if you think about it, to make this vision become reality is extremely difficult. You can have a country where a few have a lot of money, and most of the rest don't have a lot. This exists in a number of countries. But if you want a country like Mauritius to be in a situation where everyone has a lot of money, you need to be able to create new products, new services, conquer new markets. Basically, you have to innovate. So, my talk will be basically on innovation. Next, please. Now, this is what we want to achieve within 10 years. Irrespective of the government, irrespective of the political party. We want to be in a country where you have smart environment, smart living, smart mobility, smart government, smart citizens, smart education, smart business, smart infrastructure, smart utility. And it all starts with what? Question? Among all those smart things, which one is the most important? Smart citizen. Because without smart citizens, you can't have a smart government, which can't come with policy measures to have smart everything else. So the role of the educational sector is key into making Mauritius a better country, a high-income country which is inclusive. And this is where you, students, as well as your teachers and professors, have an essential role to play in the transformation of Mauritius. Next, please. Now, Vision 2030, which is the vision of the government, has identified a number of growth sectors, important growth sectors, in which government believes that if we go towards those sectors, there is a high probability that we attain this status of high income. The sectors are agricultural, manufacturing, ocean economy, tourism, financial services, and information technology. Now, one thing that you need to understand is that if we do exactly the same thing that other countries are doing, we won't create new products or new services. The idea here is to take one of those sectors and do something that no one else is doing. For instance, agriculture might seem boring to some of you, but we have a real issue in Mauritius. We don't produce enough vegetable and fruits for local consumption or regional consumption. So anyone who can come with innovative technologies or techniques to bring a revolution in the agricultural sector will contribute greatly towards making Mauritius a better country. And this is true for all the other sectors I've mentioned. So one thing which is important, this is not, the jobs of the future are not IT jobs. They are about using technology and innovation in every sector, but most importantly, those sectors. Okay? So this is one thing you need to understand. What I've just said about agriculture is also true about, let's say, manufacturing. Let's say, for instance, we build exactly the same kind of factories that we have been building over the years. Will we conquer new markets? No. We need to be able to build high-tech factories producing things that other countries of the region can't produce. Can we do it? Yes. But we'll have to work hard for this to happen. This is true for tourism as well. We need to conquer new markets. For instance, China, India. Can we do this by using exactly the same recipes we have been using for, let's say, the EU market? No, because the people don't behave the same. So you have to come up with innovative ways to do things. Next, please. Next slide. So we need to innovate, which is basically about seeing things differently from others and being intelligent in the use of our resources, most notably our brains. Next. Now, one thing which is interesting, you can innovate without technology. But if you have access to technology and you know how to use technology correctly, you can innovate at a quicker pace. And this is where Mauritius has a strategic advantage, because technologically speaking, Mauritius is a very, very advanced country. We are among the 6 countries in the world to be fully fibered, for instance. We have fiber optics everywhere. We are among the few countries in the world with a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy. So it's actually quite difficult to come and try to pirate things when you are abroad. So there are a number of measures, technologically speaking, which makes Mauritius extremely in advance compared to other countries, especially on the African continent. So technology will allow us to innovate very, very quickly. Next. Now, what is next? So what kind of technology am I speaking about? Obviously, all of you have heard of those buzzwords, n'est-ce pas? Everyone has heard of Internet of Things, genetics, drones, blockchain, big data, augmented reality, etc., etc., etc. Now, there's a reason why I call those things buzzwords. It is because initially, for any one of us, including myself, including most probably Professor Gopal Ramchan, those things are just words. But you need to invest a lot of time and energy to go deep into those things, and then little by little, those things stop being buzzwords. They start representing concrete things that you can actually use in order to create new products, new services, and conquer new markets. So the hard part of your job as students will be to stop saying, yeah, I know what artificial intelligence is because I've touched Titan. It will be, I know what artificial intelligence means because I've followed 4 online courses on Coursera or whatever on this very topic from the very best universities in the world, and now I know what I'm talking about. You see, you have to invest time and energy in order to make those things less buzzwords, but more concrete matters. Now, among all those things, personally, I believe some of them are a little more important than others. So I'm going to quickly go through those 4 essential technologies that I think can have a quick impact on Mauritius. Please, next. Now, the first one is IoT, Internet of Things. Who knows what Internet of Things mean? Development? 1, 2, 3, 4. Not a lot. Now, Internet of Things is basically when every single device that exists, from your smartphone to your computers to this projector to this camera to sensors to this loudspeaker, everything measures things, so they become sensors, and those sensors send whatever they are measuring in real time someplace, let's say on the cloud. So, the interesting thing about IoT is that when you arrive at this situation, you have a lot of data. Now, is this an end in itself? Is it good to have a lot of data? Obviously. But it doesn't serve any purpose until you make sense of the data. Please? Now, making sense of the data is what I like to call statistics. You see, when you have a lot of marks and your teacher needs to determine whether your class is good or not, your teacher calculates an average mark. Statistics is basically calculating averages, standard deviations, comparing to previous years, etc., etc., etc. But in computer science, we like inventing new words, so this is what we have called analytics. But for you, analytics and statistics is pretty much the same thing. It's about making sense of the data which has been collected. Now, why would you do that? Why would you try to make sense of the data which is being measured through the Internet of Things in order to make better decisions? Now, think about it. In most cases, in your house, at school, in ministries, in private companies, most of the decisions being made are not based on data. They are based on gut feeling. So if in the morning you are in a good mood, you might make this decision. If you're in a bad mood, you might make that decision. Is this conducive to creating a country which is a modern country which can compete, let's say, with Singapore? No. We need to be more rational and scientific in the way we do things. Hence, the importance of both IoT, Internet of Things, and big data analytics, okay, to make better decisions. I'll take a concrete example. You have this amount of money to invest on a project. Should you invest on that one or the other one? Right now, it depends on the mood you had when you woke up. This can't work anymore. We need to be able to base our decisions on concrete evidence. Okay? Are we along this direction in Mauritius, measuring everything? Yes. Safe City, for instance. Cameras everywhere, measuring everything. All the new dams which are being built have sensors everywhere. All this data is going where? According to you. In the data center of the National Computer Board, which run the government online center. Is the data being analyzed and measured and used to make decisions yet? No. But this is what we'll have to do in the coming months. Start interpreting the data in order to make better decisions. So this was the second technology that is extremely important for you to understand. Statistics, but to do better decisions. Maths. Third technology, which is extremely important, next please, is artificial intelligence. Or rather, a subset of it, which is called machine learning, or rather, still a smaller subset of it, which is called deep learning. Now, deep learning, and we are fortunate today to have a guru of deep learning with us, Professor Ramchand, who's going to speak just after me. Now, deep learning is what you use when the data is so large that it is humanly impossible for you to make sense of it. Either there are too many items of data, or the data is unstructured. It doesn't follow any, pattern which is visible to the eye. Then you use a technique of artificial intelligence, which is called deep learning, in order to try to infer things that a human would have some difficulty in doing. Okay? One thing you need to understand, here also we are talking about maths. There's no magic. For most parents, AI is magic. For us computer scientists, this is just an application of maths, but a very valid application of maths. Okay? So, will we face those issues in the near future in Mauritius, having to use deep learning to analyze data? Yes, because we're collecting so many items of data. Do we need experts in deep learning? Yes, and this is why there are scholarships now for those who want to study further in deep learning, artificial intelligence in general, and blockchain technology as well. And this brings me to the next slide, which doesn't exist. I thought I had a slide on blockchain, but I'll just skip that. Bon, étant donné que je l'ai mentionné, let me say a few words on blockchain as well. Have you heard of blockchain? Oui? No? Among the students? Have you heard of something called the blockchain? Okay, so this is also a technology which is interesting because basically it is something that allows you to build a database containing data, and no one can come and tamper with the data. Let's say you have a database somewhere with all the people, all the teachers, and the salaries. Can someone come and change the salary of one teacher and put a zero at the end so that that teacher earns 10 times more? Yeah, anyone who has access to the database. This is good when you have a lot of control and the amount of data is small, but when we are talking of big data, and when we are talking of data which is used by government to make decisions or private companies, you need to be able to have a technology which prevents people from coming and changing. This is what the blockchain is all about. So in the future, will we have to have experts in blockchain? Yes, because a lot of our IT systems will be built on blockchains. Donc, pour résumer là, Internet of Things to collect data, analytics to analyze the data, AI, deep learning, when it is humanly not possible to analyze the data, you need to use machines, and the blockchain to store anything that should not be tampered with. Those four low-hanging fruits are technologies that we can use right away to make a better Mauritius. And we already have, some universities working on some of those technologies. Next, please. Now, what is going to happen in the near future? A lot of tasks are going to be automated. I was reading an article the other day which was extremely interesting. BMW has a factory somewhere in Germany which produces cars like this with robots everywhere. Donc, ça c'est banal. The interesting thing about this factory is that there is absolutely no light bulb inside. There's no light bulb. So basically, it's designed in such a way that humans don't ever have to get inside. Because the robots can fare by themselves. So this is the kind of future that we are contemplating. A future where robots will be everywhere doing all kinds of hard work. Is it good or bad? Are some people going to lose their jobs? Yes. But if you think about it, every time there was a technology revolution, electricity, the steam engine, electronics, computers, some jobs disappeared for new jobs to be created. Okay? How many horse drivers do you have now? Zero. Apart from some jockeys. Is it a good thing? Well, because we have cars. This is bound to happen. A lot of jobs will disappear, and it's going to be extremely important for you to choose the proper subjects, the proper university studies, in order to do one of those jobs which are not going to disappear, obviously. Next, please. Obviously, in 5-10 years, we'll be surrounded with driverless vehicles. Obviously. Do you know that the airplanes that we have at Air Mauritius, the Airbus, the various Airbuses that we have, they can take off, fly, and land by themselves? So basically, the pilots are only there to pester the air hostesses. No, I'm joking, but those airplanes are autonomous, basically. So our cars are going to be more or less the same. So, taxi drivers, good job prospect or not? Or lorry driver for a logistics company, good prospect or not? Now, if you are contemplating becoming a lorry driver, let me tell you, this job won't exist in 10 years. 5 years. Okay? Next. And what is going to happen? We'll have better and better and better artificial intelligence doing better than us in a lot of tasks. Now, are they going to be better than humans? Yes, in some tasks. But for other tasks, we'll still have an advantage for at least, let's say, 50 years. So we are... Après, on ne sait pas, pour être tout à fait honnête. The singularity. So, next please. So, technology jobs. Next. Now, one thing which is interesting, all of you have a Facebook account. Yes or no? Lève la main, tout le monde qui a Facebook? Normal. How many of you have a LinkedIn account? LinkedIn. Now, basically, LinkedIn is Facebook for grown-ups. People who are trying to find jobs or to say what kind of job they are doing and trying to find opportunities. Now, LinkedIn every year does a very interesting survey on the skills that recruiters or company CEOs look for when recruiting people. And you'll be amazed to see that those are the skills that a lot of CEOs are looking at right now. When they look at a resume, they don't see if you master C++ or Java, because this can always be learned. But they try to evaluate whether you have good leadership capabilities, whether you communicate correctly, and communicating is not about reading something, it's about talking to someone, and hopefully not boring them to death. Whether you can collaborate with others, because easy problems have been solved. Only complex problems exist. And any complex problem requires many people to work together from different disciplines. And whether you can manage your time correctly. Because, let's say for instance, you are given 1 month to do something, and you do it in 2 months. Doesn't serve any purpose because someone else has come and has, conquered the market. So these are the kind of skills that people are looking at. And I have to say, bon, je vais être un petit peu critique là, our schools don't put enough importance on those skills. Those are the skills that need to be developed in 2019. Now, in addition to that, there are extremely important technology skills that need to be developed as well. Next, please. If you look at LinkedIn, the latest 2018 top skills, those are the skills that are in demand right now. Software engineering. So software engineers are those who create software, obviously, mobile apps, web apps, whatever is run on a computer or a smartphone or a tablet. Software engineers. 66%. Do we have enough software engineers in Mauritius? No. Do we need thousands of them? Right away. How many people are employed in IT in Mauritius right now? 25,000. How many places are available? How many more jobs are available? 25,000. Among those 25,000 additional jobs, I would wager 20,000 of them are software engineering positions. So if you want to have a nice career, what is a good bet? Software engineering. But are you made for this? Not no. You'll have to discover yourself. Now, the second one is IT infrastructure. IT infrastructure are those people who make sure that everything which is powered by IT runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Typically what is done in the government online center. 15% of jobs. Big data, statisticians and mathematicians, 15% of jobs. Digital marketing and electronics are negligible. And one thing you need to understand, LinkedIn is not concentrating on technology jobs only. This is compared to every single position which is available worldwide. So 66% of jobs on the planet are for software engineers. Am I happy to be a software engineer? Of course. Because I know that I am in great demand, even though I'm not doing a lot of software engineering right now. Next, please. So, what am I going to advise you? I would advise you two things. One, you need to be ready, as from today, to put in a lot of efforts. Those things that I've mentioned, they are not easy. And you need to get deep inside for you to make sense. I'm talking here of deep learning, I'm talking of analytics, it's important. But basically, fundamentally, it's about science, technology, engineering, mathematics. You need to be extremely strong. This is where the jobs will be. Okay? So, personally, what I did was computer science. But computer science has a number of derivatives, like computer engineering, software engineering, information technology, information systems. You can choose whatever you would like. But make sure that prior to joining university, you have been exposed to some of those things by yourself, by learning by yourself. First of all, to have a head start, but also to make sure that you like this field. Now, I only have 1 or 2 minutes. I'll conclude with something important as well. Next, please. Okay, stand numéro, ça on sait. Now, one thing which is important as well is that we, computer scientists, are making sure that people are getting a lot of leisure time now. Automation will make sure that you will get home at 2 in the afternoon. The same way your parents get home at 5. The same way your grandparents got home at 9. You see? History shows that technology makes people get more leisure time. And what happens when you have a lot of leisure time? What happens? You want to entertain yourself. Next, please. People who do the latest Marvel movies. If you look at the credits, generic, at the end of the movie, any Marvel movie, it will go on for 15 minutes. And 90% of those names are computer scientists or people dealing with technology. Lots and lots and lots of jobs for those who are technologically inclined, but who want to work in the entertainment sector. Keep this in mind. Being a technologist doesn't mean going to an office and sitting in front of a computer all day long. It's much, much, much more interesting than that. Next, please. So, all those things now, today, 2019, 2020, require technologists. Every single of those things. And those things are the things that are going to exist in vast quantities in the future because jobs, tasks are going to be automated. So you are the ones who are going to build those things for us when we are going to get old. Obviously, when you are going to build things, don't say that you are only going to build for the Mauritian audience. Build for the region, build for the world. Because thanks to the internet, you have the world for you. So think big. Next. Next. So, can you put the previous one? Because this is something you need to understand. Try to combine STEM with arts. This is what I do. I'm a musician. I have 3 albums on Amazon, on Spotify. So I'm a computer scientist who advises the minister, and I go at home and, compose music and put it online, where I have a few people listening to me. You see, try to combine those things. Try to find different ways to amaze people. Do it through technology, because technology allows you to do it quicker than trying to do it with pen and paper. But don't believe that technology is an end in itself. It's just a means, a moyen. Okay? And don't let yourself be restricted by whatever people tell you. Think big. So, next. The point is this. The future of Mauritius, high income, inclusive country, can only be built by all of us together, including you. You might be younger than us, but we are talking of the next 10 years. So you're actually going to be the generation who is going to make this dream of high income, inclusive country become true. So, next. So thank you very much, and never, never, never forget your contribution counts, and think as big as you can. Thank you.